Welcome back. I'm super hyped because I forgot what I wanted to talk about today. And I just love the Notes app. I love the Notes app. Utilize your freaking Notes app. If your thing up here doesn't always do the remembering thing very well, write everything in the Notes app. All right, so here's today's topic. The fine line between a hero and a villain. Oh, I love this. Okay. So, quote from Dark Knight Rises, Batman the Dark Knight. Ready? Quote. Madness is like gravity. All you need is a little push. The Joker says that at the end. This is getting me so excited because, I realized this. I'm getting, goosebumps. I realized this the last time. I mentioned this a couple episodes again. My friend and I went on this mushroom trip, and, it stripped away all the masks and showed me, who I am. And I saw this sad, laughing, cackling jester. And I was like, okay, that looks like a villain. Okay. And then it got me thinking about stuff, about the line. The fine line between the creation of a villain and a hero. Because they all come from trauma. Let's just look at Batman, for instance. Batman lost his family. His parents were murdered right in front of him. That's adversity, what we talked about yesterday, overcoming adversity. So he overcame the adversity, but he had compassionate support. After the trauma had happened, the police guy, well, he's now the commissioner, but he wasn't the commissioner at the time, but Police Commissioner Gordon or whatever, he took off his jacket, put it around little Bruce, and was like, it's all right, homie. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out. You're not alone. It was in that moment that, because of that compassion, his heart was melted, and he began this journey that he began. And Batman is not a killer. He never kills any bad guy. He delivers them to the police. So he's not a murderer. He's not out here for vengeance. He's not looking for that. He is vengeance. But when you really think about it, is he? He's compassionate vengeance. He's getting all these guys locked up and put in jail. Like a hero should. Now look at the Joker. You look at the Joker's backstory and you look at that movie that they made with Joaquin Phoenix. He was born into madness. His mother was a little mad. There was no support, no one to validate him, no one to show him that compassion. Of course, also living in poverty does that to you as well. Everybody's struggling. No one's got time for the weird little kid in the corner. We're changing that as a society, but I'm trying to make a point here. Batman came from money, got a little bit more compassion, a little bit more attention. Joker came from nothing, didn't receive compassion, didn't know another way, starts descending into madness. That's the line. The line is so fine because the line is that of being shown compassion. And you have to be shown compassion within that moment where we are at that rock bottom moment where we are making a decision. Lightness or darkness? Succumb or overcome? Succumbing's easier, but succumbing is dangerous. It's like living a half-life. It's not sustainable. Here's the story that got me realizing how we're all presented this opportunity. If you've ever been through something traumatic and have had your hope and your belief system in people and society in the world start to diminish, we're all on that line. This is why we need to show better compassion to our fellow man, because you don't know who's right on the fence, who's about to decide what road they're going to go down for that, because they received a lack of compassion, a lack of compassionate understanding. Here's the story. So, I'm not going to get into details because I'm still working on healing this trauma, and I'm not going to do that on YouTube. I do that in the corner. I'm going to ugly cry. And maybe one day, once I get through all of that, I'll share the story. That's just how I am. I like to heal over here kind of thing and then present. But So, psych word things. Not the right psych word for me. Let's just sum it up. Criminals. Criminals, like, with murderous intent. Like, people that would harm others. They rope those in, apparently, with those who try to harm themselves. It's not the same. So, scary, very scary time period for me. Because, self-harm versus trying to harm others, it's not a good combination. So, it was a week or two, or however long I was in there, from hell. It was hellish. I thought my life was bad. And then I was in there. It can always get worse. Anyway, so it took a long time to get out there. Really bad doctor kept threatening me and, stuff, threatening me, telling me I'm going to be here forever and I'm going to have to take him to court to let me get out of here. And imagine how long that will take. Like, that's what he said. So, that plus my fellow inmates, it was an interesting time. Finally figured out a ride to come get me. Took a while. We had to do a lot of work with, outside therapy parties to prove that, I don't belong here. And finally got approval that, like, you're right. You shouldn't be here. But they still wouldn't let me leave until someone came and collected me. At this time in my life, I didn't have people to collect me. I was on my own. So I called somebody that I used to do drugs with. I still did drugs with that person during this time because once I got out of that, I fell right back into it because let's not think about it anymore. So I called this dude and I'm like, dude, you know how you have that one friend who has a car? Because, like, none of us have cars, right? That's just kind of like the nature of the game. And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, listen, I will buy the drugs for everyone. And whatever else, gas, drugs, I just, like, need someone to get me, to, like, tap me out from being here. They won't let me just, like, leave. So they agree upon receiving the treats that I had promised, and they drove up. And they got me out of there. And we're walking, I'm keeping this all in myself, because, like, I barely, like, know these dudes, We're not, like, friends. Like, I just knew he had a car, and I'm bribing the shit out of them. And so we're in the parking lot, and right as I step my grippy socked foot onto the asphalt, no shoes, no nothing, I had nothing. The kid that came with the car took the sunglasses off his face and put them on my head, like put them on my face. Before I even made the grimace at the brightness of the sun. Before that even happened, like, he was on it. And his other friend made fun of him for that. Why are you doing that? Like, if she wants sunglasses, she'll have sunglasses. He cut him off. He was like, like, he was pissed. He was like, do you know the last time she saw the sunlight? Do you? And that, I broke down. Because I didn't even think of that. I was just so desperate to get out of there. I already started to suppress the entire memory. I was like, we're good. We're just going to do drugs about it. I was like freaking focused. But upon receiving that light-handed compassion, I melted. And instead of becoming the stone-walled version of myself that I had been leading up to that point, that's why the traumas kept happening, because I kept suppressing them and not dealing with it, attracting more problems, put it to this eventual terrible scenario. And because I'm hardening myself, right? You keep hardening and hardening and hardening. But so I didn't even realize I was like becoming a kidney stone. I had been hardening and hardening for how many years? And this last straw, I'm telling you, I already made the decision. Like, I didn't think of anything else but just like I'm going to the drugs and like that's my life and that's it. And that melted compassion started me thinking about other things, other good things in life. I started telling him about how crystals follow me around. I just brought it up. I was like, I don't know what's good. Everywhere I go, people always end up like giving me one, or like I just find them in my bag. Like, it's kind of insane. I don't know anything about them and then they keep finding me. So after that conversation, he then drove me to a crystal shop. Melted me even more. Then while at said crystal shop, the woman that owns the shop grabs both my bandaged wrists in her hands and puts a rose quartz heart on it, and she looks at me as if she was hurt. And she goes, "You need to start loving yourself." That changed the whole trajectory of my entire life. I all of a sudden was like, what? Like I was snapped out of a walking sleep that I'd been doing for 12 years or 10 years. Like, I didn't even realize. And when she said that, that moment started my healing journey for the better. Those 2 acts of compassion. Where would I be today? I would not be coaching people, helping them to heal what I've overcome. I would not even have overcome yet. I would not have overcome it at all. I'd probably be dead or in jail or in another psych ward defending myself from people. Like, I'm living a full and thriving life because of 2 simple acts of compassion from strangers. Like Batman and with Gordon putting the jacket on Batman's shoulders. There was the sunglasses on my face. I would have been a villain. I was already a villain. It just needs a little push. And that is so goddamn true. So true. So stop acting like everyone's already a villain, right? Because you could be the turning point for somebody. Okay, I thought I wasn't going to get emotional and do healing in front of you, but I might. So, look at me. Look at me trying to pretend like I'm harder than I am. I do that sometimes. We all have the tendency to do that. It's okay to admit you're still vulnerable. It's okay to say you're still healing. You're still hurt by something. That doesn't mean you're not a capable person. That also doesn't mean you can't lend advice to other people yet. Oh no, you still got stitches and scars. You're not qualified, bro. That makes me the most qualified because like I get it, like we get it, like because that's tough. I think of that sometimes when I'm at my lowest and I think of these memories. I'm like, who the F am I? Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm still just this like soupy mess. Healing from these traumas, like these debilitating memories. But like, it's not like that all the time. You know? It used to be like that every day. Now it's like maybe once a month. Or now it's even to a point where it's like seasonal. Like when there's energetic shifts that leave me a little bit more physically and mentally vulnerable, then that kind of stuff starts to present itself. And then I recognize that stuff still needs more healing and more attention. So then when I start to feel better after self-soothing and things of that nature, the next day is like a proactive plan into healing the thing that I had just figured out I need to do. That's a tangent. Let's get back to the heroes and villains. So, it's that easy to become a villain, but it's also that easy to become a hero. You could be a hero to someone by putting those sunglasses on someone's face, by being aware enough to recognize the journey and pain of another person and to supply something as simple as a jacket around the shoulders or sunglasses to their face. Don't hold back either when you have a feeling like that, like someone needs that from you. However, Gordon didn't adopt Batman. He didn't adopt Bruce and like solve the problem. No, because this is Bruce's story. This is his journey. If Gordon were to have adopted him, it would change the entire trajectory of everything. It also wasn't what was needed for a trajectory change. All that was needed was the jacket. So what I'm trying to say is you don't need to get inside of everybody's skin suit and like operate them to help them solve their lives. One small act of compassion is beyond enough. That person will become a hero or a villain on their own choice as well. So that's why you need to give compassion and walk away, because nothing is going to change their trajectory once they've already decided. That compassion should be enough to change it, but if they're already too far and too gone, don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Don't become Harley Quinn and the Joker, you know? I mean, if you love toxic relationships, then, like, by all means. I think the world is duality written for a reason. I think that there's supposed to be chaos and there's also supposed to be order. I think it blends. It's supposed to blend. Of course, I'd rather we didn't have as much violence towards each other as we do. Of course, I wish that. However, I don't think everyone's supposed to just be the same. I don't think everyone's supposed to be how, like, let's say my relationship is. Or, like, my relationship is, like, look, I'm wearing a sweater with a collared shirt underneath. Like, obviously, I'm not very chaotic. I'm chaotic enough. I need some semblance of order. But then there's some people that can match their chaos with outward chaos, and they can thrive in that. And I'm like, you know what? Good for you, bro. Like, do it up. Doesn't mean they're necessarily a villain, no. But when we look at these sad stories and we see things happening and we get so mad at the villain, but really, like, that villain might not have become a villain if the person that's getting mad at them for being a villain showed them some kind of compassion before they became the villain. This is why it's so important to give compassion, kindness, and unconditional love to every single human being you meet. I'm telling you, you don't know who's towing that line. I didn't even know I was towing the line. Like, it's really important. And I think about that so much. And when I visualize that imagery that was shown to me during that mushroom trip, like, I was like the old school Harley Quinn from the old cartoons. Not like the sexy one. I don't resonate with that. I mean, sure, like, I like more clothes than that. So, like, the old school one, she had, like, a full body suit on with, like, the little ruffly sleeve ends and, like, little ruffly here, like, with the big jester hat. That's what I saw. That's who I saw in my mind. Like, that's when I recognized I am sad girl. But because I have good support and good tools and good self-awareness, that I have channeled that sad girl energy into good, into being able to feel deeply, to be able to connect with others and help others heal, right? Whereas I could have embodied the sad in a different way and let it lead me to anger, resentment, and vengeance. And then I would have become this villain who causes the pain. But it all is the same nugget. So that also gets into thinking. I had this thought when I was walking to work like a couple years ago. Walking meditation's a thing, by the way. You can receive a lot of messages just like walking by yourself for a long time. And this thought came to me. It literally hit me like a lightning bolt. Like, I almost like collapsed. Like, my knees went buckly. I was like, ah. Because this thought, is once you become self-aware or just aware enough to realize that the power that we all hold, the ultimate unlimited power that we have, like through manifestation, intention, how we can rewire our brains, like, whoa, then you're presented with two choices then as well. Utilize that knowledge for good, rewire your own brain, help heal others by setting self-example, a more sustainable way of living because you're building upon your own personal empowerment and healing your traumas as you go. Or you learn this and you decide not to heal and you decide to become interested in dark psychology and manipulation and getting your empowerment that way through manipulation tactics and dark psychology and narcissism and making others doubt and question who they are and everything like that. But that's not sustainable. You constantly need others to fulfill that power. Whereas when you choose the light or the good, it's more self-sustainable because you become a pillar of empowerment based off of your healing. So that's why whenever you look at stories with good and evil, good is always like healthier and stronger, and evil is always depicted as like meeker and twisted or scarred and broken, right? Because it's not sustainable. It's going to eventually consume you. We all get two choices. The world is based off of, the whole universe is based off of duality, a positive and a negative interaction. We all are faced with this choice one day, you know? I remember there was a time I caused a scene at a Walmart. It was like a me problem, but I made it the store's problem, right? How dare you have a policy like blah, blah, blah. Like, I guess I'm not eating tonight. And like caused a scene, made people uncomfortable, probably made someone sad, and then just stormed out of there without my groceries. Yo, you know who failed? Me. Because guess who didn't have dinner that night? Again. Me. So like, maybe go online and figure out how to activate the gift card. I didn't have internet, so I kind of blame them for that too. But let's be real, we can find Wi-Fi. We can find Wi-Fi. Because these are the kinds of things that we need to do to build ourselves up. We need to be good. We need to be fed. We need to drink water. We need to find compassion when we need it. That's another thing. If you start to feel yourself going into villain mode, go hunt for compassion. Sometimes it doesn't work. It's a bummer when it doesn't. But majority of the time, if I go to a restaurant alone and I get service from like a waitress or a waiter, I get compassion. Because they're working for a tip. So they're going to listen. I'm not going to lay down an hour worth of conversation. That's not fair. But I'll just drop a couple things and be like, yeah, I'm just frustrated about this, and that. And they listen and they care. And I don't care if they're doing it for just a tip. It doesn't matter because my brain and my heart and my nervous system isn't reading that. It's not like, oh, they're only being nice to you because they're working for a tip. It doesn't matter. You're hearing nice things going into your ear balls. It's changing your whole entire molecular structure. It's all you needed. I know that from that moment that I've experienced with the sunglasses thing. I know that compassion is what gets me out of dark holes. If I'm starting to feel a dark hole, I go pay for compassion. Is that a problem? No. It's a tool. It's a tool. I'm alone a lot. I can't always just be need a compassionate person. You know what I mean? And of course, my partner and I share compassion with each other, but sometimes you just need that external, that little extra support from a stranger. There's something about it coming from a stranger that makes you just feel that much more seen. So don't hold yourself back either. If you're like, oh wow, no one's showing me what they showed Bruce with that little moment of compassion with the jacket over their shoulders, so I'm just gonna be the Joker. No, you now, if you watch this video, you now have the awareness that you can make that decision yourself. You can go hunt for compassion. You now know that that's the tool to get out of that realm. Joker might not have known that. He didn't know that that's what he needed. You know, and then we surround ourselves with people that don't know how to be compassionate towards themselves, and we expect that when we feel down, they're going to be able to give us compassion. This is why we got to be real mindful of what we're doing socially. We really do. We got to be way more mindful than what we think we're doing. Because energy is energy transference too is a real thing. So you hang out with that guy. I'm picturing that moment in the scene in the movie with Joaquin Phoenix, where he's like at work and everybody's a clown. You know, like that's his job. They're like clowns, and they're all like making fun of him and putting him down, and he's just laughing and laughing because like that's his thing. He's got a disorder and he just laughs and like. But that's also right, and then it gives everyone the impression that it's okay to keep treating him like that. So everywhere he goes is just constant. And that comes down to us too, but it's hard when we're in a state of vulnerability to stand up and say, don't effing talk to me like that, bro. Like, don't. For me, I'm at a point where I won't even waste the energy to say that. You just like won't ever see me again. I know that sounds dramatic, but like, I'm just too tired. I'm too tired for the lack of compassion. Like, I can't handle it anymore. I can't handle people not taking a minute to, like, think before they say stuff. Or do stuff. So I can't be around it. And that's okay. That's my authentic nature. That's fine. Because it starts to pull me towards villain mentality. And I'm going to be honest and admit that with you guys. I know that I balance that line. I know that. And that's why I've dedicated my life to helping others. Because if I don't, and get stuck, surrounded by the lack of compassion, like everything I do within my job is all about like healing and love and connection and growth. So that helps me in my regular life constantly be focused on those kinds of topics, right? But if I were to be doing something that wasn't fulfilling in that way, it would start to poison my mind. And I'm not thinking those words. Those aren't my affirmations anymore. They become that of stress and no one understands things and people are mean and rude and blah, blah, blah. And I know my mind. I've seen how it's become. It will start to become poisoned and it'll start to evolve. And before you know it, all my hair is getting cut off and I'm wearing freaking fitted hats again and I've got dickies on and a knife on my waist. It just happens. And because now everyone's an enemy and I've got to be ready to fight. Granted, that's happened to me in my past, but when you're in this new mentality and you're focusing on those affirmations of compassion, love, connection, healing, and growth, you tend not to attract people near you that are going to harm you in the way that you like need a knife. Like, sure, if you're a woman, let's not go down the dark alleyway. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there's still not threats. There are, but there's less when you're projecting those keywords versus the negative keywords. It's just true. It's just a true thing that I've noticed. So we all are balancing on this line of becoming either heroes or villains, and it all has to do with being shown compassion, giving ourselves compassion, and then initiating that healing journey. Yeah, because, like, I could totally get it. Like, when you watch I just watched The Dark Knight again, like, I could have easily become the Joker. Everything that he was saying made sense to me. Like, I was like, yeah, no, let me take notes. That makes complete sense. And that's what kind of freaked me out a little bit, is I get it. I've thought those thoughts. I've lived there before in here. But I never fully acted upon them due to those little tiny baby bits of compassion that I received. Crazy. It's crazy to think about that. I almost got a face tat. Like, relax. I was fully committed. Like, I didn't realize this until now, looking back upon it. But, like, And then going into how we've been talking about authenticity lately, like, is that my authentic nature or who I am now my authentic nature? I think both are. I think both are authentically driven outcomes. But one was choosing the light and one was choosing the dark. One was overcoming and one succumbing. Right? But that doesn't not make you you. I still have sad girl jester energy in here, but she's gonna use it for good. It's gonna help Batman, you know? Not gonna cause more chaos. I am definitely, let's just say, unique. So I may cause chaos that I don't recognize, because to me, this is all like, but to others, like my partner, he'll still point that stuff out. And he thinks it's funny. But he's like, just know the way that you're operating right now or thinking about things, like, or operating and acting out, whatever, like, that is a little unique. So, yes, I guess the moral of the story is go show someone compassion. Don't get involved. Just, like, be a nice person, man. Just think that everyone around you is, like, about to become the Joker. So, like, what do you need to say or do that makes that person less driven to want to cause chaos and harm others? And I think that that's, like, my purpose here. I'm not doing it out of, like, fear that they're going to, like, attack me. No, you don't do it out of that. You do it out of just, like, knowing, like, I could be helping save somebody's life today from darkness. Somebody could choose the light today just because I said, hey, what's up? I like your hat. Simple. Simple. We often talk about this when it comes to self-harm prevention, right? Like, we're like, you never know if someone's about to do that. So, you know, give them a reason to want to stay. But it's not always that deep either. It's like, not everyone's looking to be either in or out. Some people are gonna be, it's always a battle between good and evil, right? Constantly tipping the scales. So if you choose the side of good, you must have the awareness that even just one person from the side of good going to the side of evil tips that scale. All it takes, like we talked about yesterday, the 100th monkey effect is seen in its most negative form as mob mentality. All good can also become evil. Everything's the same but different. And all that is needed is sometimes a crack of light amongst the dark. A flashlight in a cave. A matchstick even amongst the blackness. That's it. That's it. And it doesn't cost you anything. It's free $99. I gave the sunglasses back after, so it wasn't like I stole them. So think about that today. And also recognize that about yourself. Are you choosing light thoughts? Are you embodying light thoughts? Are you embodying light actions? Or are you embodying darkness? And it can be as simple as cursing someone off who cut you off in traffic. You chose dark today. It's that deep. Be mindful. Be mindful, because the more you work with the light energy, the easier things do become. Working with manifestation, the law of attraction, that's all light energy, man. So, that's my words of wisdom today. I am very, very exhausted. This week has been a very tiring week. I feel there's a lot going on planetarily, but also our Earth's heartbeat, Schumann resonance, has been kind of up and down all week as well. So I hope everyone's feeling all right and taking it easy on themselves, showing themselves some self-compassion. Go get some boba tea. Yeah, and I'm looking forward to what next week will bring, because I have a feeling there's a shift happening right now energetically, and it's going to start kind of unfolding and panning out as we move into Taurus season, which is the 20th. So let's see how it goes. Have a great day today, everybody. Choose good, not evil. You're allowed to also be chaotic, but not evil, So just think about that. Have a great day, everyone.